right, well, now let's switch gears because there's a big topic going on down on the Hill, and it's all about UBS and offshore accounts. What might that mean for those who put their assets in offshore accounts? We're going to talk to three experts about that pending issue being discussed on the Hill right now. First of all, Pauline Frommer. She's from Pauline Frommer Guidebook. She's the creator of that. We also have Mark Sunshine. He is the president of First Capital. And our Roni Deutch. She's a tax attorney, and she is in Sacramento, California. I want to thank the three of you for joining us. And let's get into this. This is a pretty complicated story here, Roni. Basically, as I understand it, about $18 billion was kept secret from the IRS, and UBS, in essence, is the one who created these offshore accounts for American customers. Is this a spy novel or is this real?
Good morning, Alexis. It's great to speak with you. First of all, this is the classic case of greed. UBS sent their wealth managers to venues where wealthy people are located, Alexis, and they promised them, we're going to hide your assets, you're not going to have to report it to the IRS, and we're going to save you billions of dollars in taxes. And Alexis, you think it's only $18 billion. When the Department of Justice and the IRS are done investigating this, Alexis, you and I are going to find out that it's more like $180 billion that has been hidden for decades, Alexis.
Wow, $180 billion. All right, we're going to get back to that in a second because my guess is, Mark, I mean, call me crazy, but I'm assuming they're not the only financial institution who has been doing this. What does it mean for UBS, and what does it mean for any of the other international institutions who may have been up to this?
Well, they're clearly not the only other institution it's doing, because there are other institutions that are named in the investigation. It's very bad for them, but this isn't a spy novel. This is Get Smart. I mean, this is a joke, and we couldn't make this up if we tried. They sent their people out with handbooks on how to evade surveillance and how to evade law enforcement, and they gave their high net worth customers passwords and told them to go use payphones. I mean, gave them rolls of quarters. And their solution isn't to clean up their act. It's, let's not target Americans. I guess they're going to target Canadians and Mexicans and Japanese people going forward. I mean, it's an absolute joke. Law enforcement should be all over this and all over UBS as a corporation.
And I'm guessing that Ronnie's going to be right. We're going to find a lot more money involved in this. Pauline, you know, a lot of the story is detailed or discussed in a place called Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein? Am I saying it right? Liechtenstein. Okay, I'm going to work on it. Where is it? And tell me about this place, because I think when you think offshore, you're thinking a Caribbean island.
Mm-hmm. Liechtenstein is a teeny tiny country. It's 6 miles long, 11 miles wide, wedged between Switzerland and Austria. It's a constitutional monarchy. In fact, in 2003, the prince wanted more powers. They didn't want to lose the prince, so they granted him more powers. He can just dissolve the government at any time. The government makes 25% of its income on the sale of postage stamps, because stamp collectors around the world want stamps from Liechtenstein because it's so tiny.
Oh my goodness!
It's a bizarre little country.
Yeah, so
totally
I mean,
bizarre.
Tell me more about. I'm kind of fascinated by this. I think we're gonna focus on Pauline now because she can tell me about every country on the globe. But tell me about the economy there. I mean, why would this be happening there? Are there lax rules? You know, what is it that this was the place where a lot of this activity was brewing?
This is a place that's totally off the grid. It's a little alpine paradise. It has big manufacturing. It has big banking, as we're now finding, and it's just kind of off the grid. People are not watching Liechtenstein, so things can happen there.
Should I visit there?
Yeah, if you like alpine walks.
I don't want to get arrested right now, so I'm not going. All right, Roni, let me turn to you. What can Congress actually do right now to UBS and LGT, which is the company that was involved in this with within Liechtenstein, in terms of these allegations? What are the ramifications?
I think you and I have got to also talk about not only UBS and the banks, but we also have to talk about the individuals. The ramifications, Alexis, are huge. First of all, the individuals that have money there are going to jail. Once the Department of Justice and the IRS finds all of the names of these people, we're talking over 19,000 unreported accounts, Alexis. So once they find those individuals, they are going to penalize them, attach interest, make them pay the tax, of course, and send them to jail. But what's sad about UBS, they're the largest wealth management company in the world. They could lose their license. They could be hit with such severe penalties and fines. But what about their reputation, Alexis? This is an absolute nightmare for them, but more importantly, for the individuals in the United States that have their money there, that have been evading the law for decades, Alexis.
You are absolutely right. It's the first thing I thought about yesterday when this hearing was going on, because, you know, you did hear some senators, some congressmen say that they were appreciative about the fact that UBS was coming forward to discuss this. I mean, appreciative, give me a break. I mean, the reality is this is nuts.
Yeah, it's
yeah, but wait a minute, Alexis. You got to know something here. In 2001, foreign banks agreed to reveal income numbers to the IRS, and they agreed to withhold the taxes on these accounts, Alexis. That's why this is so significant. They agreed in 01 to do it, and they've gone through elaborate measures to do the opposite, Alexis. As the gentleman earlier said, code names, encrypted computers, and their best friend, shred machines, Alexis.
All right, Mark, what do you think? I mean,
well, I think they also had. I think they also had shoe phones, just like in Get Smart, you know, and the cone of silence. They did the whole thing. But is UBS in trouble? Absolutely. And let's put the name on this. This is tax fraud. This is flat-out tax fraud and a conspiracy to commit tax fraud.
Okay, can I ask you this question?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I went down to the Cayman Islands on vacation in March. And when I went there, I found out that...
Have you consulted your lawyer before you finished this story? I don't want to get you in there.
I didn't do anything.
It's like being broadcast,
but
you know?
when I went down there, everybody's like, Alexis, you're going to like hedge fund haven.
That's right.
Okay, so explain to me how some of this is different, because you do hear about people who have offices in Manhattan, who domicile their businesses in other locations or have accounts in other locations to protect themselves against taxes. Is that not illegal, and this is?
Well, the Cayman Island hedge fund thing is a completely different
I mean, this
different
is
setup.
Individuals evading taxes.
The reason hedge funds were down in the Cayman Islands is because they're offshore investors that are making offshore investments, and the hedge fund managers are managing those assets offshore. It's legal, it's understood by the IRS, there are clear rules, and generally, not always, but generally the people down in the Cayman Islands or the managers that are managing money down there are doing it correctly. This was completely different. And I used to work overseas, and I had income that I earned overseas, and it was subject to U.S. tax. And basically, if I had wanted to not pay U.S. taxes, I would have gotten a Swiss bank account, hidden the income there, laundered it through Panama or some other country, and then not paid taxes. It's tax fraud. It's money laundering. And from UBS's standpoint, it's organized crime. This is white-collar organized crime.
It's an unbelievable story.
It's an amazing story, and I want one of those shoe phones.
Pauline, just quickly before we go, too, as I understand it, the royal family owns the financial institution there where this occurred. They're not sitting pretty either.
Right. No, it should be bad for them, although they own a country, too. So
they probably have some money.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Roni, you know we love you so much, and we're so excited to have you back on to talk more about this, because I want to get back to that $180 billion that you're concerned about, but we'll do it at another day.
Yes.
Pauline, it was great having you. Can you teach us about some more countries? We need to have her back a lot. And Mark, as always, I love you. All right, we will be right back. I should mention, UBS manages $3 trillion in assets, and it's the world's largest private bank, which is what Roni mentioned earlier. One of its bankers, Bradley Birkenfield, has already pleaded guilty in the U.S. tax evasion and fraud case. We'll talk about that, of course, in months to come. All right, we'll be right back with much more Money for Breakfast in just a moment.